Hi, I'm Yoram and I'm going to show you in this video how I assembled a piece of equipment that would keep the power running even if you're doing a webinar while you have a power outage like we had here in Texas, up to 10 hours. I recorded a longer video that explains why I chose the components that I did, but this time I want to give you just a short one. If you want to have all the details and why I made the selections, click on the top right and you're going to see the long video. It's about the 22 minute video. This one is going to be short. I'm just going to show you what I did, not why I did this, some of the considerations, and I'll take you right through it. I recorded this video for you based on what currently exists and what I know right now. But things change, new technology, new products, new software versions, new ideas that I get, some of them from viewers like you. So if you want to be informed when I release new videos with new or updated content, subscribe to this channel and get notified when I release them. Oh, and you can also like this video, but that's a whole different thing. Welcome back. The equipment looks just like this. It's a little cart that I actually built myself out of wood and a little cart at the bottom. There are two batteries there. There is an inverter, a power inverter, and a charger. But first of all, the question is, what is the equipment that you want to keep during power outage? This is the first math that you need to make. This is my equipment. I needed to keep the camera. I have a microphone that's powered. I have two external screens. I have my laptop. I even have a printer that I kept running. I added it all up and it added to about 200 watts. Now, how do you know? There are several ways to know that. One is every charger or every piece of equipment actually have a label that says how many watts does it consume. So just look at all those labels and add all those numbers up. There is another piece of equipment I'm going to show you at the end that actually allows you to measure it. And I bought that one as well. That was a $32 acquisition for me. So how do we keep the power running? Well, obviously, the first thing that you want to do is buy a UPS, something that, like the one here, $155 off of Amazon. It is capable of carrying 900 watts, which is more than the 200. I even allocated 250 watts. It's definitely more than the 250 watts that I need. So it seems like it's good enough, and the problem is that it can carry the 250 watt equipment, but for how long? To understand how long, you have to go into the battery itself. This is the battery that's in the core of the UPS. This battery is a 12 volt battery, 9 ampere hour. By the way, the 9 ampere hour are measured over a 20-hour period, so it's a lot less than 9 hours than 9 amp that were delivered during the 20 hours. Let's do the math. How long can this battery last and the entire UPS that this battery is inside? I have 12 volts, 9 ampere hour, multiply them, you get 108 watt per hour. But since I have 250 watts that I needed to carry, you take the 108 watt hour of the battery or the UPS divided by 250 watts, which is what I need. All I get is 26 minutes. That's obviously not enough. I wanted a lot longer than that, and you will see how long. So I'll break down what a UPS is made of. UPS is made of three main components. 110 volts comes into the charger. The charger charges the battery. The battery keeps the power inside or in its capacity. Inverter on the outside, you get 110 volts back. When there is no power inside, then you really are operating off of the battery. UPSs typically also have a bypass link that allows you to get 110 straight from the main power if there is a main power. How long did I need? I needed 8 hours. I sometimes give workshops that are 6 hours or even longer than 6 hours. So I wanted to make sure that I have 8 hours. I took my 250 watt, which is all the equipment that I had, including the lights, camera, microphone, computer, two screens, and everything else. I even measured it. It measured 200 watts, but I allocated 250. Times 8 hours, I need 2,000 watts. 2,000 watts is a lot more than the 108 watts that I got out of the battery inside the UPS that I showed you. So if I needed 2,000 watt hour, I decided I'm going to use 24 volt batteries, and you're going to see how I did that in a minute. And if I take the 2000 watt hour that I needed divided by 24 volt batteries, I needed batteries that had 83 ampere hour. Just keep in mind that 83 ampere hour means that they're going to be completely depleted at the end of 8 hours, and I'm not sure that's where I want to go. So I looked around and I found this battery. It's a $165 battery. It's a 12 volt battery, but it has 100 amp hour. So this battery would be just about half of what I needed because I needed 24 volts. I did the math on 24 volts, 100 ampere hour. And what I did in this case is there are two ways to get more capacity by using two batteries. One is to put them in parallel. If you took two 12 volt batteries with 100 ampere hour each, put them in parallel, you would get still 12 volts, but it's 200 ampere hour, the capacity of both of them. What I decided to do is take the two 12 volt batteries and serialize them, in which case between the plus and the minus, I get 24 volts at still 100 ampere hour, which is what each one of the batteries has. Now, the inverter and the charger have the red and the plus and minus, red and black wires. I did not have the wire in between, so I went on and for $13 I bought a cable in between them. The links to all the equipment that I got is going to be in the description of this video. I chose a 1/0 AWG or zero gauge wire that is capable of carrying a lot of current. The next component was the power inverter. This is the one that takes the 12 volts from the, or 24 volts. I bought a 24 volt one. Important to make sure that you get it something that's suitable for the batteries that you have. 24 volts, 2000 watts. I really only need 250, but I like to keep spare, and the price difference was not that big a difference. And it's a pure sine wave device, which means that the signal that comes out is very clear. Again, more explanations in the video, in the longer video. I got a charger. This is a 12 or 24 volt charger. Even though it says 15 amp, it has 7.5 amps at 24 volts. Bottom line is it worked. I put it all together. This is kind of the top. You can see this is about halfway through. You can see that I'm actually consuming about 190 watts, which was what I measured at that point. This was about 5 or 6 hours into the experiment where my entire office is operating purely on this device and the batteries that are in there. Batteries are a little depleted to 24.4. They started at 25 point something. At this point, I've already consumed 1.04 kilowatt hour. At the end, I consumed just over 1.6. The equipment that I had, the batteries, two $165 batteries to a total of $330. The inverter was $225. I actually got it for $200. There was a coupon. Charger for $178. The wire $13. The cart parts, the wood, screws, wheels, and everything about $50 from Home Depot and Harbor Freight to a total of $796. The electricity monitor that I mentioned was $32. This is it. I built that piece of equipment. It operated my entire office for 10 hours straight. It took another 13 and a half hours to charge, but now I don't have to worry about power outages. If this video was helpful to you, subscribe to my channel and get notified when I release more videos like this. Also, check out my resources for speakers at thediyspeaker.com.